Oh my goodness. Y'all, we weren't muted. Please tell me we weren't muted that whole time. Were we muted that whole time? We were singing our tails off. How can that be? What happened? The devil gets into this stuff. Philip's back here. Philip, be there. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's go see what they're saying on the comments, y'all. I cannot. There's no sound on your show. Oh, I'm watching on YouTube. My brother says there's no sound. Danny Phillips, no sound. Yes, you were muted. Oh. Well, y'all, let's sing a chorus of it again. Here we go. Well, just over in the glory land, I'll join the happy angel band. Just over in the glory land, just over in the glory land, yes, with the mighty host I'll stand, just over in the glory land. Well, that's what we were trying to do. Happy Monday. There's always a devil in that system.
Oh, my Lord.
But God rules. Philip B. Dare's back here, everybody.
Yay, Philip.
Colleen, my sidekick. Welcome to Mondays with Mark. It is August the 12th. And we have a very special going on over at marklowry.com, the Danny Phillips. Let me just show you our little special right now. This week at marklowry.com, and only at marklowry.com, you get my Dove Award winning What's Not to Love CD for only $5. As soon as the program is over, run on over to marklowry.com and don't rush. Don't leave the program. You've got all week. This week, August 12th through the 19th, you can get as many What's Not to Love CDs you want for only $5 a piece. Get a lot and hand them out. Again, what is happening? I'm sorry, y'all. I do not know why that keeps muting. Oh, goodness gracious. Keep watching that, Colleen.
Okay.
Did that mute when I went? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so wait, hold on. Here we go. I know why. Oh, I know why. Because I'm trying something new again. Scenes. These scenes that Ecamm allows you to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still test driving this stuff for you guys. Let's sing another song.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay, no.
What?
Are we going to be heard?
Yeah, we're going to be heard. See that? As long as that's moving, we're heard. But
Okay.
evidently, I goofed a while ago. Hey, y'all, you know this one? We're going to sing another song so I can get my mind off all this technical stuff. As I journey through the land, singing as I go, pointing souls to Calvary, to the crimson flow. Many arrows pierce my soul from without within, but my Lord leads me on, through him I can win. Well, oh, I want to see him, look upon his face, there to sing forever of his saving grace. On the streets of glory, let me lift my voice. Cares all past, home at last, ever to rejoice. Oh, well, when stand in service for my Lord. Dark may be the night, but I'll cling more close to him. He will give me light. Satan's so on the side, but my Lord goes ahead, whatever betide. Sing, oh, I want to see him, look upon his face, there to sing forever of his saving grace. And on the streets of glory, let me lift my voice. Cares all past, home at last, ever to rejoice. Oh, yeah. And it stayed on the whole time. Yay. So this is August 12th, and it's been hot in Texas. It is hot in Texas in August.
Oh, yeah. It is so hot.
It was over 100.
It's been that. It's been 103. It was 103 today.
That's the reason I never leave the house. You know, you can go without food here in Texas, but you can't go without air conditioning. Air conditioning. That's what you've got to have. And then I got so much to tell y'all about. My sweet Josh and Courtney came down to visit. And when they got here Friday night, Courtney and I had decided before they got here that we were going to go do a ceramics class because I love pottery, and it's like therapy to take your mind off of everything. And so we went, and this lady, there's about 10 other people, this lady taught us how to do clay. We took a lump of clay, stuck your thumb in it, and then you do a pinch pot. You pinch all the way around the clay, and then eventually you got a pot and you put a handle on it, and then we did a dove. Oh, y'all, my dove. You wait till you see my dove. What they do, they give you some clay and you fold it over, and it's a whole process. You pinch it and rub it and all this stuff. And anyway, you end up with a dove. Well, the face is supposed to come to a point like this, but mine, I didn't have enough stuff to kind of make a point.
You have a snub nose.
I have it turned into a crinkle. It's an old man's face looking up. You wait till you see it. It looks like an old man's face because it didn't quite make it, but there were two eyes and nose and an old man like me looking up. So I said, I think I'll keep this one like this.
Oh,
I
that's
like
funny.
that. Let's see what else. Oh, and then we had a pool party with, let me read them all because I have so many relatives I can't remember them. Betty, Jean, and Marianne, my cousins I grew up with. They're both grandmothers now. And Ken and Cameron and Cullen and Allison and Caroline and Elliot and Van and Ivy. Ivy, she's named after my grandfather, Ivy Edward Davis. Wow. We called him Pawpaw. Robert, Lewis, I call Lewis, what's his name?
That's funny.
And then Linda, Elaine, Tiffany, and of course Josh and Courtney. And it was just so much fun. And then last night, Sunday night, Taranda and Landon Bean stopped by. They were at Champions Forest Baptist Church yesterday morning. They come in about a couple of times a year.
Yeah. I think they said they did 2 services yesterday.
Or maybe it's more like every couple of months. I don't know. It's quite often.
Yeah.
They do 3 or 4 services, and they are worn out, and so they came over here and napped on my couches while I watched
They
TV.
did. And we had Chinese food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We ordered Chinese. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what else we got on the program today.
And I missed all the fun activities.
Oh, yeah.
But I went to a great 60th birthday party of a friend in Granbury. Granbury.
Granbury, Granbury, Texas.
Yeah.
It was Jace. Our friend Jace. He turned 60.
Happy birthday, Jace.
And yeah, happy birthday, Jace. And what else was I going to tell you? Oh, Streisand, y'all. I went to see Barbara Streisand, and I know it made a lot of people mad, but I love her singing. And I went to hear her sing, and so that's exactly what I did. And I'm 61, so I figure I can do what I want.
Yeah.
You know, and some people said, well, don't put it on Facebook. Well, why? Mm-hmm. I'm 61. I'm 61. I'm old.
It was just a fun concert.
Yeah, and it was free tickets, and my friend Tim Davis, who sings backup for her, got them for me.
Yeah,
and you were supposed to go.
Yeah, well.
And Dina went, and Bubba went, and it was just great. It was she could sing, that woman. If we're 77, she can still sing. Now I probably wouldn't go again, just because I've heard her.
Right.
You know, it's like hearing me.
You've experienced
once
it.
you've heard me, you've heard me. You know, there's no reason to do it twice. So anyway, Jay DeMarcus is with us today. But let's. What else was? Let me just make sure I don't have anything. We've done the commercial. Hi y'all, Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flatts. We had the best conversation. I can't even talk. Conversation yesterday. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for doing this.
Man, it is my pleasure. I love you. You know that.
I love you too. I was looking at your Wikipedia page. Thank God for Wikipedia. I don't have to have a research department.
I know.
And it says, because this will be the introduction. Hey everybody, my first guest today is born in Columbus, Ohio, and he graduated from the Tree of Life Christian School. Let's welcome Jay DeMarcus.
Here he is.
I just thought that'd be a great way to open, but of course we've already started recording, haven't we? Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay,
Yes,
I am
sir.
so proud of you. Let me just start off by saying this. That I saw you, you were on the bus way before your Wikipedia page.
I know. Way before the internet.
Way before the internet, yeah. And I'll never forget when East to West, y'all got on my bus, and I guess we'd leased one back then, you know.
Yeah.
And what great days those were. And then you went off, I read that you called Gary Livox your cousin, right? Your second cousin.
He called me, actually, and said he'd been singing in Ohio and wanted to come down and sing for me. And I immediately called my mom. I was like, good Lord, I'm going to have to tell my cousin he's awful. This is going to put me in a bad spot. Because, you immediately think if somebody wants to sing for you.
Okay. So you hadn't heard him sing before?
Never heard him sing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
No, and so obviously when he sang for me, it just stopped me dead in my tracks. And
sure.
He lived on my couch in my one-bedroom apartment across the street from Michael English in Bellevue.
Yeah, he made your Wikipedia page, but Mark didn't. But don't let me bring that up. Hey, but he also you produced the gospel, the album called Gospel that Michael did, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so East to West had done this,
had
split up, and you were kind of trying to figure out what you're going to do?
You were the one that reintroduced me and reconnected me with Michael. You and I went to see him somewhere in Tennessee one night. Remember that?
What year would that have been?
95, 96?
Yeah.
Somewhere around. And we hung out backstage with him, and you said, why don't you guys, I'm going to cook dinner, and y'all come over for dinner. So we went over there, and Michael and I reconnected, had a lot in common. He and I had been through some similar circumstances there in the Christian music industry and became joined at the hip and really, really dear friends. And I started going on the road and working with him, road managing and playing bass. And he said, well, let's go into the studio and cut some stuff. And why don't you just take a crack at producing it? I know how badly you want to. So Michael English is the one that gave me my first real shot at producing a record.
Well, he must have seen something that everybody else has seen since then, because you've just rattle off for everybody so I don't have to read your page. Who all have you produced now?
Yeah, I've produced, obviously, the last few Rascal Flatts records, and I produced Reba McEntire's gospel record she did last year. Just won a Grammy this year with Jason Crabb's record, Unexpected.
That's
produced
great.
the Martins. I produced legendary band Chicago. I produced Chicago 30. I've produced James Otto. I've produced Ronnie Dunn's solo record. I produced Kix Brooks' solo record.
So do you enjoy producing more than performing?
Yeah, I never really set out to be an artist, to be quite honest with you. I love performing and I love singing, but I always love the nuts and bolts of putting the pieces together and putting the picture together for the music that would live forever,
Okay, I want to ask you something that just popped in my ADD mind. Do you remember when Michael was producing, for me, I shall not wear the cross
Absolutely.
through yon city, and you got on the drums because the drummer couldn't get it. I hope I got this right, and God forgive you, poor drummer, if you're listening. but something wasn't right, and you got on the drums and did the drums for that, if I remember correctly.
I did some keyboard parts for you too. We went over and visited you several times while you were doing that record. Played some keys on that record. It's on allmusic.com right there. Keyboards, Mark Lowry.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
I've always loved making sure the parts were right and everything lived together in harmony. And that's kind of been my passion. I love what I do with Rascal Flatts, but never in a million years, A, did I ever dream it would happen, and B, that I would be an artist and it would have lasted this long.
So tell me, how have you, because you got married to Allison, and now you have Madeline Lee and Dylan J.
Yeah.
Any more coming?
No, we're finished.
Okay.
We got one of each. They're both healthy, and we're happy.
You've reproduced yourselves, and you're on with your lives.
Exactly right.
Hey, so
a better version of ourselves.
And by the way, your wife is beautiful, and I'm sure the children are equally beautiful. I haven't seen them. I think I may have seen the little girl, but I haven't seen. But how have you balanced that? Because you're in country music, which is a kissing cousin to gospel music, I've always said, because a lot of artists know the same people and work with the same people in the studios and such. But how have you done that with the marriage and the kids? And I mean, now you're not on the road as much now?
Yeah, we just still do about 60 to 65 dates a year, but it's getting tougher to leave. I mean, it's we are not anywhere close to retiring, but my heart is more tied to home now because there's something there that it's so, I miss so much when I'm gone. But also, somebody got to pay the bills. So,
babies like to eat, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's what I figured out quick. Oddly enough, they like to eat.
Yeah.
So, I do what I do, and I love it, and I love to see the fans every night, but it is harder and harder with each passing year to be gone so much.
Yeah. Well, you've done an incredible thing. Now, also, I've heard you've started a Southern Gospel record company, or is it Southern Gospel?
No, it's CCM.
Oh, it's CCM. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where I'm sitting right now. This is my office at the new Red Street Records. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's called, Red Street Records?
Red Street Covered by the Blood.
Okay, tell me everything about that as if I know nothing, because I obviously don't.
You got, my heart. I started out in Christian music. It was a huge part of my life. I love Southern Gospel music. I love CCM. I love it all.
Yeah.
And so a few years ago when I started to do more and more Christian records, for instance, with the Martins, I did their record, and I did another record with Michael called Some People Change, where we actually remade In Christ Alone, which I love, just incredible. And your suggestion to do that, by the way.
It was incredible.
Yeah, and so every time I would do a record in Christian music, I always felt like I was coming back home. I always felt like there was a piece of me in there that was left unfulfilled playing just country music that my heart had been attached to for such a big piece of my life. Every time I came back, I felt so re-energized and reconnected to what had been such a big part of who I was as a human being. So I started to explore the idea of opening up a label. Don Cook and I reconnected after all these years. He's the one that first brought me to Nashville with East to West. And we started to talk about doing a different kind of label, a small label that could move quickly and service the artists and had a unique perspective on what the artist's needs are, because I am an artist. So I'm going to look at everything differently than your typical label head would. And so we opened up this company. We launched in October of last year. Avalon was our first signing, and we just put new music out on them, a new single out for the first time in 10 years. Jody McBrayer's back in the band, and it's just so exciting to hear them singing new music again. And I've been such a fan of Avalon. I went to school with Jana. Greg toured with us. We were in East to West. So
they were on our show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they came down. They just live right up the road. They're in Conroe, I think, and I'm, of course, in Houston, and they came down. They were on the show. They told me about that.
And it's just so exciting. We've signed a couple of young new artists that we're so thrilled about what their potential is, and more importantly, their hearts to share the gospel and to give a little bit of hope into this world that I feel like is going to hell in a handbasket faster than you can blink an eye. There's so many hurting people out there. I mean,
That just sounds so. You can tell you are from the old school. You may look like you're hip, but hell in the handbasket. But you know what the good news is? Jesus went to hell so we don't have to go. He went for 3 whole days, preached to them, drug a whole bunch of people out, and now we don't have to go. That's the good news, isn't it?
it is the good news, and more people now more than ever need that good news and need that hope, because there are so many hurting people in this world now.
Let me
And
ask you this too, because you've sung gospel. I've heard you sing it with anointing, because you come from Church of God, Lee University, that whole Holy Ghost filled Danny Murray, those people. I mean, they got the Holy Ghost in their pockets, right? In their hearts, of course, in their hearts. Please don't write me.
Pockets and hearts.
You know what I'm saying? And so you know that touch. And I'm sure you felt it on the country stage too, because God is everywhere. Jesus is everywhere. He's holding all things together. John 1 tells us that. You can't go anywhere he's not. So, but what's the difference? I've never sung country. I've never had any desire to, I might add, because I've always, you know me, I love this message. We talked about it on the bus back then, you know, and I love talking to you about it too. And so tell me the difference. What if there is one? Because there may not be.
I think sometimes for us there is no difference, because Rascal Flatts, we've found ways to sneak in our beliefs and our faith into our music. And quite honestly, people will come to Rascal Flatts shows and you'll see them lifting their hands and worshiping at our shows. And it's incredible. Sometimes there are those moments when you're doing just a fun song like Summer Nights or something, to where it's just about everybody having a good time, and it's a fun song that everybody can dance to and let loose. But for me, the difference in singing gospel music and Christian music is putting the focus on the one that gives you everything to begin with, and turning the attention back to where it should always be to begin with, and the focus on God the Father, and a God that cared enough about us to send his only son to die for us. And when I think of the gravity of that, no matter where I'm at, on stage, singing, or by myself, reading my Bible or in devotional, it overwhelms me every time. It still gets me every time to think that I mattered enough to him to send his son to die for me. And that's what gets me every time. And singing about it drives it home even more, you know.
Oh, yes.
And I couldn't live without it. I really couldn't live without it.
Absolutely, I agree, and I love hearing you talk about it, Jay. You know, the music. I know there are people like you. The music, Michael English is like that. The music touches them, but you know, just a conversation with you about him does for me what I think music does for you. Because just sitting here hearing you talk about how much you love him, it just builds our faith, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Encourages
you, strengthens you, gives you fortitude. I mean, all of the above. I am, you know this as well as anybody, I am a flawed, screwed up human being. And without the hope in Jesus Christ, I have nothing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing I can cling to, you know?
Yeah, but you are the image of God on legs. He is creating a new, you know, he said he's going to make all things new one day. And I've already put my order in for a nose that comes to a point.
I got a long list too, my friend.
Well, I love you, Jay DeMarcus.
To lift these ears a little bit.
I love you, Stanley Wayne. Did your mother ever call you Stanley Wayne?
No, she called me Bubby or JJ.
Now, has your mama passed?
No, my mom is still here.
I am so glad.
I was blessed to have a young mother. She had me when she was 20. So she's 69 right now. And so
I'm so glad. I didn't know. You know, I'm always scared to ask because you never know.
Oh, I know.
But I loved your mother back in the day when she'd come to the concerts.
She always still asks about you. And she talks about you and talks about those memories we have together, and you signing the book for her and talking to her and taking time with her. She's always loved that.
Oh, please tell her I said hello. And let her know to watch now, you know, because you'll be on Monday night. Okay, sorry about that. Doggone it. I can't have nothing. We're live again. Was it let me? Let's see if we're live again. Oh, here we are. Are we live? Y'all, I cannot believe this. I think I'll leave it on this camera. Are we muted over here, y'all? Okay, let's see if anybody comes in. I'm just going to sing this and we'll see what happens. Here we go. I think I'll just sing it like this.
Yeah.
It's There Is No Secret by Stuart Hamblin with Cheryl Rogers on the keyboards. The chimes of time ring out the news. Another day is through. Someone slipped and fell. Was that someone you? You may have longed for added strength, your courage to renew. Do not be disheartened, for I have news for you. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. You'll always be at home, wherever you may roam. And there is no power can conquer you, while God, He's on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. All right, here's Cheryl. Listen. What God can do. It is no secret what God can do. There is no secret. Y'all, I accidentally thought I ended the program, but I came right back. But thank y'all. Next week, you know who's going to be here?
I don't know.
You're supposed to know these things.
I don't remember you saying.
Well, you're supposed to know. Do you do any advanced study or about who will be the guest, what questions to ask? Nothing? You don't study at all?
Not really.
You do no research?
No. It's kind of off the cuff. You know?
Can you tell? Brian Free and Assurance. Ever heard of them?
Not really.
Well, you'll love them. Next week, right here on Mondays with Mark, everybody. I sure do love y'all tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.